Hey, good evening, good morning, good afternoon. It's Harry from Hasbro TV back with another match review video. So Tamworth 0, Tottenham 3 after extra time, actually. I need to drop that in there because that's quite important. So Spurs played Tamworth in the FA Cup on a Sunday yesterday because I was filming this. But anyways, so let's go through the starting lineup. Kinski started in goal, which we kind of knew was going to happen because Ange came out and said it in his press conference, which I don't really watch anyway. And then the defence had Porro, Reguilon, got his first start in about 2 years. And obviously you had Granger Greason because we didn't really have much else, I guess, there. And obviously the midfield was Sarr, Maddison, Mikey Moore played on the left. His first start in a very long time, actually. Werner was up front and Johnson was on the right. Yeah, that starting trio up front. Yeah. So let's get into it. First of all, massive credit to Tamworth because you guys made us look very ordinary. And to your manager's credit, he did the homework that all the other managers have done this season. Go on and watch Tottenham, seeing how predictable we are, and set up to counter that. And to be quite honest with you, it kind of proves a lot that it took us 108 minutes to score against Tamworth, who, and again, no disrespect to Tamworth, they kind of could have won it really, actually, because before the full time, they did have a chance at the end, but they were organised, they were disciplined. Most of their players aren't even like, they have part-time jobs, really, they're part-time footballers, and they did give us a few problems as well, Tamworth, but their manager clearly had them organised. He knew we were going to take time dilly-dallying on the ball at the back because that's exactly what every Ange team does. He knew we were going to invert the fullback, so what did he do? He used the overloads on the wings as much as he could. I think his name's like Andy Pigs or something, so I'm just crediting Tamworth here first because they deserve way too much credit. And I didn't know many of the players. Noru, if in Tamworth fans are watching this, and Noru, I think his name is, was giving Porro a lot of problems, partly because he was inverting, of course, and left a lot of space. But Tamworth kept us out for 100 minutes plus. Like, I thought we were meant to be this amazing attacking team under Ange Postecoglou. And bear in mind the team I reeled off to you, most of the first 11, or pretty much all of them, okay, we've got defenders injured, but would we really expect Tamworth to hurt us that much in defence? Probably not. And obviously, Kinski started in goal. He kind of dealt with a lot of the set pieces, to be fair to him. And the long throws from Tonks, I think his name's Tonks. But Tamworth, we didn't really stretch them at all in the 90 minutes. Like, he brought on Solanke later on in the game. Kulusevski came on in extra time, along with Son. And Maddison came off and Werner came off finally. In the end, we did win 3-0, but it was not an easy watch. I mean, really, and I hate to say it this way, if they didn't put in their own net in extra time, we could have gone to penalties, you know. Like, it was that bad. And it's kind of a bit unlucky on their part because the player, I think, probably came in to try and clear the ball, but it would end up being a bit of a mess. And maybe that's because, you know, they are part-time footballers. A lot of them are plumbers, bricklayers, own burger vans. And really, we should put these teams away in the 90 minutes. I'm sorry, like, and it's and to me, it just shows you how predictable Spurs are in the sense of like a non-league side keep us out for 100 minutes, and the guy is not even a professional manager. Probably, I don't think he is. And a lot of the players are probably older than a lot of our players as well. I mean, Maddison was poor. Actually, Maddison wasn't poor. He was probably the only one shining light in the first half. But till Kulusevski came on, he scored quite a nice goal. But again, I'm not going to sit there and go, wow, he was incredible, blah, blah, blah. And Johnson scored later on in the game. But these players, they were tired, that were playing, they're not even footballers, really. I mean, they're non-league. I mean, I'm not saying I could play non-league. Maybe I could. It made me think that I could probably score against our defence, though. Watching that game, I was like, you know what? If we're organising this predictably, but it's partly because, again, people told me on Twitter today or X, well, low blocks, we couldn't break down the low block. But hold on, This is Tamworth. No, again, don't disrespect. This is Tamworth. We should be putting this team away in the 90 minutes, 3-4-0. I'm not going to hear anything different, yeah? Like, again, credit to them. But again, we were so predictable and played the ball so slowly. And you see Andrew on the touchline standing there saying nothing. And I'm gonna compare him because I watched United Arsenal after the game, right? I look at Amram on the touchline and Arteta, especially Amram, who's clearly got all the players on side. He's clearly got them together. And he picked a good captain, Bruno. I know he's his compatriot partly, but what I'm saying is they look like a team. When I look at us, our players look very mentally checked out today. And again, I say that's down to the manager because the manager is partly a motivator for the players, right? You need to motivate the players to play, even if it's a game like this. I'm not saying you have to like scream at them all the time, but he does nothing on the touchline. And their manager obviously was screaming and stuff, and he was directing them, and obviously he had to. I mean, for them, Tottenham's like a massive thing. We're playing a team like 100 places below us, right? And ironically, it took us over 100 minutes to score. But again, 3-0 kind of flattered us, I thought, in the end. Because like I said, if they didn't score the own goal, maybe we wouldn't have been like that. Maybe we'd gone to penalties. We're 100-something minutes in, and he still hadn't scored a goal. Because I'm not going to sit and say, oh, this play was amazing, whatever. I just felt like Tamworth tied in the end, and it was always going to happen eventually. And to be fair to them, they tied a lot later than I thought they would. But that's, I think, partly our fault because we didn't really move the ball quick enough. And I actually thought after the first half, I thought, okay, we're 0-0 first half. Maybe he'll rig some changes. Maybe he'll go in the half-time and rev them up a bit, because we have seen that earlier in the season where first half's been poor, second half we come out and do a blitz for like 10-15 minutes, let's say, and then we score 3-4 goals and that's it. But we didn't really see that. And I thought there'd be some sort of urgency. I mean, Bergwijn came on later in the game, and I didn't think he was that great, if I'm being honest. I know some people are praising him, but I didn't think he was that good. But it's very hard for me to sit and pick a Spurs man of the match because, to be honest, none of them played well. But then, for me, it's down to the manager to also motivate them to play in games like this, because I think it's easier also for the players to turn up in some ways in bigger games, because there's there's more riding on it, in the sense of that you're playing a bigger team like Liverpool, for example. But at the same time, these players need to know, and the manager needs to tell them, you've got a job to do. You've got to go out there and, okay, obviously respect them, but like get the job done. Like, it just doesn't. I don't see that from manager on the touchline at all. He just it was just pathetic. And then the tactics as well. Like I said, so because we're so predictable, I genuinely think every manager in the league, and in England now, I can confidently say, probably knows how we're going to play. And because we don't change it, it doesn't adapt, even with the personnel. Like, for example, today against Tamworth, he didn't have to invert the fullbacks. There was no need for it. Okay, you can play a high line because we're going to have the ball probably 90% of the time. But don't invert the fullbacks, because they knew we were going to invert the fullbacks. So what did they do? They overloaded the wide areas. And there were instances, especially in that first half, where if they had just a little bit more end product, we could have been in massive trouble. And we were in massive trouble still until 100 minutes. So for me, yeah, we won 3-0. We got Villa away in the next round. But that was a pathetic performance, and Ange still needs to go.